Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Happya Life podcast. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. After deciding survival wasn't enough, I set out on a path to live my best life. I wanted to thrive. Now I'm on a mission to support others. Think you're not good enough, confident enough, brave enough? I'm here to tell you you are, and you can achieve anything. This is your time, so let's do this. Welcome back to the Happya Life podcast. I'm Clare Deacon, your trauma-informed therapist, positive psychology coach, and founder of Happya. And today we're going to be talking about the moment almost every woman reaches at some point in their life, but rarely talks about it until she's through the worst of it. Rock bottom. Let me just soften us into this conversation for a moment. So, wherever you are, out walking, cooking, sitting down on the sofa and taking a moment for yourself, I want you to take a slow breath. Take that breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Allow your shoulders to drop. Unclench your jaw. And just for a second, let yourself arrive here with me. Because rock bottom is tender, it's raw, it's complicated. And for many women, it's not just a life event, it's an identity event. It might come after a breakup or divorce, or when a healthcare shakes you awake, or when your body finally collapses after years of being the strong one. Or maybe nothing happens at all, but you just wake up one morning in a life that feels too small, too heavy, too misaligned. And you think, I just can't do this anymore. That moment, that quiet collapse, it's rock bottom. And if you're in that space right now, I want you to hear me say this really clearly. Rock bottom is not weakness, it's truth. It's your body, your nervous system, your identity finally whispering, I can't carry this version of my life anymore. I want to share something personal here, something quite gentle. When people imagine rock bottom, they imagine a scenario of chaos. But mine wasn't chaos. Mine was silence. Mine looked like holding myself together for years, being incredibly capable, incredibly functional, the woman everyone relied on until life finally cracked me open. Losing my husband broke something in me that I couldn't patch together with strength and that determination or any kind of coping strategy. The identity that I had lived inside, the strong one, the one who could survive anything, suddenly didn't fit anymore. I didn't know who I was without that role. I didn't know who I was when I couldn't keep going in the same way. And that moment, that identity rupture was my rock bottom. Maybe you can recognize pieces of that. Maybe your rock bottom didn't look like a disaster. Maybe it looked like living a life that didn't feel like yours, like performing a version of you that no longer fit, like waking up inside a story you didn't remember choosing. And this is important because rock bottom is not the moment your life falls apart. It's the moment your identity does. It's the quiet of feeling disconnected, of lost, of flat, like you've become everything to everyone else, and somehow you've lost yourself in the process. That moment when you think, well, where did I go? That is a rock bottom moment too. And here's the truth we rarely speak out loud. Rock bottom is not a career, it's clarity. It's the moment the mask falls, the moment the roles stop working, the moment the survival strategies can't carry you anymore, the moment your nervous system stops pretending. When everything you've been holding finally becomes too heavy, your body steps in and says, no more. And although it feels terrifying, humiliating, or shameful, it's actually the beginning of a very particular kind of rebirth. In positive psychology, we call it post traumatic growth, not in that silver lining way, not in the everything happens for a reason kind of way, but in the deeply human, deeply honest way. It simply means when life cracks you open, you have the opportunity to grow into a version of yourself you never had access to before. Not everyone experiences it, but many women do, especially when they feel supported, safe, and seen. And that's the thing about rock bottom. It strips everything away except the truth. You stop having the energy to perform, you stop having the capacity to please, you stop having the bandwidth to be everything to everyone, and you stop hiding the exhaustion you've been carrying for years. And in that raw, unfiltered place, you meet yourself, not the version of you shaped by expectations, not the version of you shaped by childhood roles, not the version of you shaped by trauma or survival or coping mechanisms, but you meet the woman underneath all of that, the woman you've always been, even if you lost sight of her. Inside the power reset, this is the moment that everything really begins, the moment when the old identity collapses and you're finally able to start asking the questions you were too busy for, or you're too overwhelmed or too afraid to ask for. Who am I underneath all of these roles? What do I want my life to feel like? What am I done performing? What have I been carrying that no longer belongs to me? What truth have I been too tired to speak? Rock bottom forces those kind of questions to the surface. And I know they're uncomfortable. They bring up grief. They bring up fear. They bring up parts of you that have been quiet for years, maybe forever. But that discomfort, that's growth beginning. Let me tell you a story about a woman I worked with. We'll call her Emma. Emma was the definition of capable. She never dropped the ball. Everyone relied on her. Her life looked strong and put together. Inside, she felt hollow, disconnected, exhausted. And one day she sat on her bathroom floor and cried because she couldn't bring herself to make a simple decision. what to cook for dinner. Her nervous system had just nothing left to give. It was off the back of a catalogue of different things that had been happening in her life. She told me later, Claire, I just thought I had failed. But when we unpacked it, it became clear she hadn't failed. She had finally stopped pretending, stopped performing, stopped carrying a life that didn't nourish her. Rock bottom was the first honest thing she'd done for herself in years. And from that place, the place she feared most, the real rising began. That's the part no one tells you. Rising looks different after trauma. It's not a motivational sprint. It's not some dramatic comeback. It's not fixing yourself or snapping out of it. Rising after rock bottom is slow. It's intentional. It's embodied. It's gentle, but it's true. For me, rising began with nervous system work long before confidence, self belief, or purpose came back. It began with sitting on the sofa with a cup of tea, placing my feet on the ground and whispering, "You're safe now." It began with letting myself cry without apology. It began with admitting I was lost and deciding to find myself again. When individuals find themselves in this place, we consider that moment, that painful but powerful recognition that you don't actually know who you are anymore, but something in you is ready to find out. That is the invitation of rock bottom. Not to rebuild your old life, but to build a life that fits your truth. Let's pause for a moment. If you're listening and you feel like everything is rubble, if you're sitting inside a life that has fallen apart in ways you never imagined, I want you to place your hand over your heart right now, just for a moment, and breathe. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still carrying hope, even if it feels tiny or quiet or fragile. That is rising, not the dramatic kind, but the honest kind. I want to offer you something gentle, a question to hold this week. What part of me is trying to grow now that the old life no longer fits? And let whatever comes up be enough. It might be grief. It might be desire. It might be exhaustion. It might be anger. It might be clarity. All of it is welcome. All of it is information. All of it is part of your rising. And if listening to this has stirred something in you, if it feels like I'm naming a part of your story you've never had words for, then I want to invite you gently into the next step. Book a complimentary chat with me, not because there's something wrong with you, not because you need fixing, not because you need to be rescued, but because this season is tender and you don't have to navigate it alone. In our chat, we'll talk about where you are, what's shifting inside you, what you're longing for, what kind of support might help you rise differently. It's spacious, it's honest, and it's completely pressure free. This is exactly what the Power Reset was designed for, guiding you through the identity shift that happens after rock bottom and helping you rediscover the woman underneath the roles, the noise, and the survival strategies. And if you're not ready to talk to me yet, that's okay too. You can begin with the free self-reflection map. Where did you go? It's a resource that helps you understand where you lost yourself and how to begin finding your way back. You'll find the link in the show notes. You're not broken, you're breaking open. You're not behind, you're becoming. You're not weak, but you're wise. Rock bottom is not your ending, it's your invitation to rise differently. Thank you for listening, for feeling, for being here, even if life feels heavy. Your willingness to stay is already your rising. Next week, we're talking about navigating the festive season with nervous system support, because peace on earth might be a lot to ask, but peace in your body, that's something we can build together. Until then, breathe gently and trust that something beautiful is going to grow. If you've enjoyed this episode, ensure you hit subscribe, head on over to my website, happiercoach.com, sign up for the weekly newsletter, and let me support you in living a happier life. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. Thank you for listening. Have a fabulous day.